Hey, I'm Gene Goldman. Here's a look at the week ahead for the week of July 8th. So over the last few weeks, we've seen some very clear signs that inflation is slowing down and economic data continues to be very underwhelming. Case in point was the employment report that came out last week. The headline number came in above expectations, and that's great news. More jobs than expected were created, but most of the job gains were driven by gains in government and healthcare, and the more economically sensitive sectors saw job losses. Also, prior months were revised lower, and the unemployment rate rose. So slower inflation, weaker economic growth. You take that together, this does increase the chances that the Fed cuts interest rates. And you see here, for example, the chances that the Fed cuts rates in September, just a few months from now, surged from 65% to about 80% now. So with this as a backdrop, what are we watching this week? Well, most eyes will be on the consumer price and producer price indices. These come out on Thursday and Friday, and both should show inflation slowing down. But I think the more important thing to watch is the Fed Chairman Jay Powell's semi-annual testimony on Tuesday to the Senate Banking Committee and Wednesday to the House Financial Services Committee. For both of these, Powell will have his usual comments. Then lawmakers will grill him on topics related to the banking system and, most importantly, interest rate policy. This testimony is so important for three reasons. Number one, the Fed indicated back in June that they only expect to do one rate cut by the end of this year. The markets today expect 2 or 3 rate cuts. Let's see if Powell gives us insight around here. Number two, the economy is slowing very quickly. Data continues to come in below expectations, especially around the consumer, especially around labor. The question is the Fed worried about this? Number three, if the Fed cuts rates, how will they navigate the presidential election? Historically, the Fed wants to be on the sidelines, but cutting before the election may be too early, but cutting after the election may be too late. So the key takeaway this week, we have some very important inflation reports, but the Powell testimony to Congress is much more important. Overall, we hope to get insight on the Fed's plans to cut interest rates. And the key here is, will Powell, he tends to make some verbal mistakes. Will he speak too much off the cuff? Will he make mistakes? We want to make sure he sticks to his script. And if the markets don't react to his testimony, that means he did a great job. Thank you for listening. For more information, please follow us on X at Cetera IM, and see you next week. Thank you.